What is going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to go over this Cross Mountain Gorge. Now, what this is, the Cross Mountain Gorge, to me, is an kind of known gem in the upper regions of Colorado. Well, I wouldn't say it's the upper. I would say it's like the northwest regions. I would, right above where Grand Junction and like Utah and Wyoming, you're kind of in that quarter. So the river is the Yampa. This is the lower section of the Yampa that comes out of Steamboat Springs, Colorado. I paddle up there a lot on that. And my buddy has been telling me about this run. He tells me how awesome it is. And I just never had a chance to get up here. It's like not many people know about this run as far as like how good it is. In my opinion, it's one of the better half slice kind of like flowy runs. If I had to compare it to something, think of it as skill-wise here in the southeast. It's comparable to the Nolichucky Gorge. And as far as scenery and rapid quality, it's right up there with Gore. Now, obviously, it's not as stout as Gore Canyon. Look at the scenery, everybody. Look at how you're putting in flat water and you're just paddling into a gored out canyon. This is Cross Mountain. And then what the Yampa does, it cuts through the bottom of Cross Mountain here, and then it empties eventually into the Green River that runs all the way down into Utah and all that. So you're actually kind of close to Salt Lake City, Wyoming region, all that. Look, sitting here doing stern squirts. I'm already warming the stern squirt up in the flat water. I would say this upper flat water is maybe half mile of flat water. There's some sand barges in there you might get marooned on, so be careful of that. Notice that how there's three of us out here in FireCrackers. We actually have the small, medium, large FireCracker out here. You know how rare that is to see them all together? We're all out here, and we all own them. It's not like demos. I think the FireCracker is one of the better kind of kayaks for this run. Small half slices are awesome out here. By the way, this Cross Mountain Gorge, I would say it's great for all crafts. It's one of these runs where you could paddle a squirt boat, a long boat, a half slice, a small half slice, creek boats, you name it. I mean, I think I would have fun out here. I'd have fun banging out laps and long boats on this. The run is fairly short if you're going fast. I think it's AW has it up to 4 miles, which is short when you consider that a pushy run. Like, I wouldn't say this is pushy. I would say it's a flowy run like this. 4 miles goes by pretty fast. And they rate it a 4 or 5. It's definitely not a 5 in my opinion, but I would give it a fun 3 to a 4 minus. Now, obviously, this is level dependent. This was what I consider a good mid-level. I actually don't even know what the level is. But they got it up from 300 to, my God, I think I would go in here easily at like 10,000. I don't see any reason why this gorge couldn't hold 10,000 CFS, and it'd be a fun big water run. Now this first rapid, we're already into the first rapid. This is called, now I might not remember a lot of these rapids, everybody. This is called Ostracizer, I think is what it is. I did it from left to right here. You can see it flowy. And I've seen a video of it at Big Water of a creature craft in there, and that looks violent. This rapid right here becomes insanely violent at big water. I would probably even portage that at super high flow, because if you got caught down in there, it could be a bad day for you. Then you could lose gear, boat, paddle, everything, maybe even your life. So maybe a big, now I'm only talking probably, 10 to 15,000. I would definitely scout that out. A lot of these splats. Now, I don't know this run, so I'm very cautious on splats because you don't know which one of them might end up in a sieve and just drop down, but this looked pretty good. Ain't that scenery awesome? Splatting like that and looking at that backdrop is one of the coolest things. I would not think I'm in Colorado just looking at that. This kind of has a Grand Canyon look. Look at that. That looks awesome. That's why you have to remind yourself just to stop and take it all in. Reminisce of, what is it? I would say kind of Royal Gorge and Gore Canyon, like looking in there. Stern squirts everywhere. Look at these eddy lines. You could just go in there and just drop your tail. The reason I stopped dropping my tail, because you start wearing yourself out. You're just getting started, and I've already done 45 stern squirts. I edited them out because it's just way too much time looking at the blue sky. A lot of little splat rocks. You can just come down and splat a lot of these. As far as let's see. We just went through Ostracizer. The next one's called Body Pizza, which is probably this right here, if I had to guess. That looks like a little... Now, that little hole right there, for some, I could see being a problem. It's a little pour-over ledge. I go up and try to splat it. It reminds me of a lot of holes that I'm used to playing in. It just kicked me to the left real quick. I just splatted out of it. I didn't see anything out there that would be major. This is like a lot of that, just kind of like Boof off the edge. The rocks out there were fairly friendly. I thought they were pretty friendly rocks. I love these eddy like that. I backed out on it and then got locked in a side surf. I love going around and hitting those eddies that are formed by holes. Those are usually super deep, so you can twirl around in them and get like a good kind of 720 pirouette on the tail and those. I can't even remember the name of this rapid. This one might be the Body Pizza. I scouted it. I looked at that line. Everybody got out above it. Now, a lot of people don't run this left line. From the top, it looks like you're going to drop right into a sieve. But as you've seen, I would actually 360 that rock. Watch Gabe. I give him the thumbs up. It's all good to go. You can come down and then you just kind of... This is kind of a southeast move. You can come down and you got to be careful not to let that happen to you. Go up on the rock. You could easily dry out a little drier. All of us little half slices, we all ran it down here. Good little splat rock right here too. I didn't know what was on the left-hand side, so I'm splatting, but I'm glancing around that left to make sure. Once everybody's seen that line was a go, you just basically drop down right here. Pretty simple. Fun little slot move. The actual line's far, far right. So everybody else went far right over there. Now just kind of like ferrying out and working our way down. Maybe they call this the snake pit. On these runs, you know, especially when you're in these shorter half slices, you got to be careful because your tail will just kind of like lock in. Little Boof right here. Next time I would go around and stern stall inside that. Probably even blast that. Here's this little flume right here. You want to just kind of ride it out. I tried to get like a spout off that curler, but I got a little too far left. I think the better route would be go farther right and drop down in that rock, beside the rock. Oh, if you had you know what I'd really like to have out here is a power slide. Oh, this might be one of the better play spots on the run, in my opinion. I get like a few pirouettes and kind of like a Space Godzilla here. You could loop this, but imagine if you had a full slice. I think I could get a complete... I think I could cartwheel there until I just wore out because it's up against a rock like that, and you can let your edge... I try to cartwheel this one. You see John there getting a good pop-up. Watch, I go in like I'm cartwheeling, and it kind of starts doing it right here. See, it's like, but obviously cartwheeling like that on a pour over, so you're gonna need more of a hole to cartwheel that FireCracker. Oh, this dork in his crossbow. Crossbow left, crossbow right. I like crossbowing this FireCracker too. It has that hard wave deflector up on the bow. It kind of gives you that turn real quick. Watch what happens here, everybody. Oop. That's where the FireCracker will get you. I look back like, oh boy. If that'd been a stout hole, I'd been in trouble. I didn't get my weight forward on that pull stroke. But you know what? We're out there playing around. I don't think it's a major issue. Obviously, I would have been paddling more aggressive. Little catch on the fly wave right here. I love yelling at other crackers. FireCrackers, that is. By the way, the paddle that I'm using here is the Arca Works Honey Badger. That paddle was awesome out in Colorado. Pretty much a beast for everything. And the dry top that I'm using here is the Hiko dry top. That thing where I wore a dry top this year almost exclusively in Colorado. It was so warm. It was really good to wear a dry top all the time. I will have links to those down at the bottom. Oh no, this dude right here, he's a solid paddler. He just got his paddle like wedged. He went underwater, and I know exactly the feeling. He got twisted all up in this swirly water, and I think it just like he couldn't get to roll established, and then hit. I don't know if he hit his head or what. And this is me chasing after a boat. He was totally fine. It was, you know, he's laughing about it. It happens to all of us. You get jangled up. I didn't want to go in this slot with the boat. I didn't want the boat to bridge the slot, everybody, but I also didn't want to go in the slot right here. This is how, what I'm trying to do. I'm like, let the boat go through or let me go through, and then I'm going to try to roll it over and get it to the bank down here. There's that sling, not a tow tether. That just helped pulling it to the bank. I was going to lock it on my vest, and I seen everybody was here. I just shoved it over there. There is a sieve in there where he swam. That's a bad sieve. Oh, he's showing me his, this is a progress capture device.
The Spock, it's a progress capture. The rope goes through there.
That is a very interesting. I'd seen them online, but I've never actually seen one in person. I didn't realize how expensive they was, but if you needed to have a quick progress capturing device, I recommend that thing. I'll link to that below too, because that looks awesome. I'm picking me one up. They're just not the cheapest out there. But I think that's a great item to have with you. In an emergency, you could easily lock that on and use it. You guys comment if you've ever used one of those progress capture devices. I'd like to see how many people actually carry something like that. Gabe's the first one that I've seen that actually had one on the river. I know climbers use them all the time. More kind of the same little slot moves to have right here. Watch this. I don't get enough lean on my crossbow. Boom, right into the rock. We got a good crew out there too. We're a crew of about maybe 9, and this river's so big it handles. You could have a crew of 20 easily and have a good time out there. See, I leaned on that crossbow. See how I leaned on that one, and then just do a kind of a blast ferry over. Once again, just stop and take in the scenery. There was a strong wind out there. I think 25 mile per hour gust of wind. Luckily, it was at our back the entire time. I think this rapid might be called the entrance to ledges, maybe? Watch me run this slot like a dork. Oh, I realized I'm like, oh, that's tighter than I thought. But I just stayed leaning into it and popped right out. So if you get pushed into that, definitely lean to the right. Yeah, this is the top of ledges, or they call it Pour Over City. Just ride this flow out. Pretty simple. I could see it being a problem for some. If you flipped in there, it would not be the most fun roll to get if you don't have a good solid roll. But there's a lot of different routes to choose from in here. I don't see any problems with that at all. This whole run, if you're a decent kind of at reading and running, I think you could easily show yourself down this run. I don't see any problems with that at all. I'd just be mindful of like super high flows watching it. I try to catch this boof right there. I kind of got it a little bit. I think if you got higher up on it, you'd get it. There's another boof coming up, but you got to be careful because the very center where the peak of the boof is lands on a rock. So you want to boof kind of with a right hand, or either go left of the peak or right of the peak. A little eddy right here to grab. Blast across. I love working those eddies like that. That's so fun. Especially in a spicy little boat like this. Stern stop that. Right here. No, I got up on that rock. It just stopped me. I didn't hit it clean. You should run that more to the right, or hit it on the left hand side. Little splat rock right here. It was awesome. I could splat that for days. Sit there and probably spin around and splat on that one. But there, you can see how you can see all the way downstream. So I don't see any issues with like coming up and kind of making a last second turn to the left and right, little 360 here. A lot of 360s. I just didn't do a lot of them out there. You could get laps on this run too. The only problem is the flat water oh, check this rock out. What's the stern point? I'm on the bottom of the river, everybody. I like it when that happens in a safe spot. I start throwing the paddle. Now, when this happens, what you should do is like wiggle from side to side and even roll if you have to. Kind of do a barrel roll off of it. If that ever happens to you and your stern gets stuck down there, don't just wait it out and then hope that you can, like, somebody will grab you and pull you off. Be active and just like roll around from side to side. Right here's the rock. Now, see, that has a rock right in the center, right at the peak. So I went right of it, and then I looked over. I actually hiked back up and ran this again.
Well, there's a rock right behind it.
So there's a little eddy to get out. Look, now I'm back above it right now, and I'm going to try to catch like a boof, like a flare boof on the right, on the river left-hand side. But watch what happens. This FireCracker tail, oh, right there, it's locked. So I just load it and go. I made it work and still got a boof out of it.
My tail loaded above it.
But obviously, if I had that to do over again, I would have done it a lot cleaner. More kind of flowy stuff. Check out this wave right in front of this rock. But me not knowing the run, I didn't want to mess with it much because I didn't know what was behind it. Looking at that, everybody, you're safe to surf that wave. I point at it and I'm like, wow, that's actually a pretty sweet wave. The rock is what's forming the wave. And I think you could get out there and surf for a while on that. And if you blow, I just didn't know what was below there on the left and the right. But now looking at it going down, I would have totally surfed that. You'd be fine. There's nothing below it. More kind of those boofs off the edges. This is definitely a spot to do an edge boof. Everybody, we're actually getting close to the end, which is crazy. This is it's kind of a fast like run if you think about it. Right here, I just want to do some more stern squirts to flat water stalls out right here. The takeout is actually right down there. I will leave put in and takeout for where this place is. I'll leave coordinates where it is. It's not like hard to find. I found it like pretty simple. I had this guy, he knew where it was, but if I had to, I could easily go back up there. And then, like I said, if you're ever in Colorado, I recommend going up and doing Cross Mountain Gorge. I think it's one of the better little jump spot right here. This is awesome too. I think it's one of the better play runs in Colorado, and it's just different, you know, coming from the Front Range all the way over to the northwest side of Colorado with a run like this. I recommend it, everybody. So yeah, there it is. You guys comment below if you've paddled this Cross Mountain Gorge and what you think about it, or if you got any questions about the boats or anything on the run, hit me up. So yeah, there it is, everybody. That's all I got, and we will see y'all on the river.
Mountain Gorge finally knocked it out. Thanks to you and Trent. Yeah, man.